Okay, so the first night of the Champions League Round of 16, first leg, is now over. And we have witnessed four major results. And to be honest, all four of them have been quite amazing. The first one has been Galatasaray, who beat Liverpool 1-0 at home in Turkey. Atletico Madrid have beaten Tottenham 5-2 at home. Newcastle have drawn with Barcelona 1-1. And Atlanta have lost to Bayern 1-6. A crazy win for Bayern. And all four of these results are so shocking in a way, because let's talk about Galatasaray and Liverpool first. Now, everyone was touting Liverpool clear winner of this tie, and that Liverpool would go over Galatasaray cleanly. Maybe Victor Osimhen could cause some problems, and Victor Osimhen was quite good in this tie. It's not like he was bad. He was getting into those positions. He was assisting fellow players. He was helping his team out, and he was good. He was great. But what Liverpool did, it felt like Liverpool still have. It felt like Liverpool still do not have that spark in them. It felt like Liverpool still are lacking in those same areas that they've been lacking in the Premier League. At least they did not give the other team, the opposing team, as much leeway as they do sometimes in the Premier League. And this loss comes at a time when Liverpool should be gearing up, should be putting their act together now towards the end of the season, finish the season strong, apply pressure to themselves. But Liverpool are doing the complete opposite of that, and this loss could either prove to be deal breaker or the deal maker for Liverpool now, because this is the time that Liverpool finally got to focus on their season, got to lock in, as the people say these days on the internet. And Liverpool should be now just dedicated towards finishing this season strong, getting to the semi-finals, the final of the Champions League, and finishing in the top 4 or 5 of the Premier League. But it seems like that isn't going to be the easiest of roads to travel for Liverpool now. And Galatasaray, hats off to them. What a performance they put on last night. They did cause a major upset. They did upset some people. Now you got to question whether Galatasaray would do something when they come to Anfield. You can expect them to at least walk in with confidence at Anfield. I know Liverpool always have the advantage at Anfield. It's a great stadium. It's a great atmosphere for Liverpool. But Galatasaray already have the lead, and Liverpool are already down with their confidence, with their self-belief, and they haven't been able to crack the code with these kind of teams these days. In this season, it doesn't feel like Liverpool will have the easiest of matchups at Anfield, and Galatasaray will come in with all guns blazing. There's some cat meowing in the background outside my room. I don't know. Atlanta lost 1-6 to Bayern, which is... I know we all expected Atlanta to lose to Bayern, but at home and losing with a 5-goal deficit, Bayern scoring 6 against you, that is just incredible. That is just incredible from Bayern. And Bayern are such a ruthless team. Bayern are such a relentless, heartless club, and inflicting defeats upon their... rivals, inflicting defeats upon their opponents. No matter who the manager at Bayern is, no matter who is playing for Bayern, it's like the club just goes in there to just... Bayern leave no room to cause any upsets. And that is the mentality that Liverpool should be having right now. And that is why Bayern have been winning. That is why Bayern might just go on to go to the final and maybe perhaps even win. That is why so many people have chosen Bayern as their Champions League winner in their predictions. Newcastle, though, did show a strong showing versus Barcelona, 1-1, and they almost won this game 1-0 until the very last minute when they got that penalty that Lamine Yamal scored. What a disciplined performance from Newcastle, a performance of all the self-belief and all the ability that they could show at home to Barcelona, a strong team, a strong European team. Barcelona are not a bad team at all. Barcelona are not a weak team at all, and you could see how good Newcastle is. You could see how disciplined and how dedicated Newcastle are to their strategy, to the approach that they have for the games. Newcastle have not had too many bad performances when it comes to not having a clue at all about the game ever since Eddie Howe has taken over, and that is something that you should always commend Eddie Howe on. And they only had a blinder just this season a couple months ago or something. But Newcastle are such a great team. You have to appreciate them. I know sometimes they can be somewhere near mid-table in the Premier League, but that just does not justify how good they are, how good they actually are, because they do go on to lose games from precarious spots, but that just does not show how good Newcastle actually are as a team and how good they have been coached by Eddie Howe. And, you know, if they do keep up with this at the new camp, at the Camp Nou, we might just see Newcastle causing an upset. And so many people have had their predictions with Newcastle causing an upset against Barcelona, and that would not be the craziest thing to see in the world. Newcastle might just go on to the quarterfinals, and that would be a great side for the Premier League, and that would not be the best side for La Liga. But whatever happens, this would be a must-see match. I also wanted to point out Harvey Barnes, another great Harvey Barnes performance. I think he got the Man of the Match award too. I think he got the goal too in this game. What a player he is. What a player he has been for Newcastle, and he has done so much for Newcastle ever since he's joined them. And I hope he does continue to do so. I hope Eddie Howe does continue to get the best out of him, and I do believe that they would. And it has been such a joy to see Newcastle in the Premier League, in the Champions League. But the craziest game of the day was Atletico Madrid beating Tottenham 5-2. Now the scoreline does not make it reflect Tottenham how weak they actually were in this game, because 5-2 it might seem like Tottenham did have some fire in them, but that scoreline just does not justify how bad Tottenham actually were, because they were down 3-0, 4-0 with just under 20 minutes in the game. I know you can point out Tottenham goalkeeper Kinsky, but it all comes down to Igor Tudor's management of the team, Igor Tudor's decisions with the team. I don't think Igor Tudor's appointment as the Tottenham coach has been the best of moves. I don't understand why actually Tottenham chose him to be the interim manager when they should have gone for someone who is more experienced with the Premier League, who could help them survive the relegation fight. I don't understand what actually is the mentality with Tottenham. Perhaps they see themselves as too good for a relegation spot, that they did not see this actual relegation battle coming in for themselves. I don't see why Tottenham are not taking themselves so seriously, and perhaps this is why Igor Tudor came up with Kinsky to replace Vicario, to save Vicario for the Premier League, for the relegation battle that they actually are. And let's just say it as it is. It is a relegation battle. You can't say it otherwise. But then you bring on Kinsky, who is just 22 years old. By the way, he does not have much experience with him. I know he is talented as a goalkeeper, but he does not have much experience with him, and he hasn't played a game for you in months, I think since October. But then you bring him on in such a huge game, perhaps in one of your most important games of the season. You're expecting yourself to do some good in Europe that you haven't been doing in your league, and you bring him on, replacing your main goalkeeper Vicario, against a team who are so predatory in their approach, who are so ruthless in their attack, and who are so unforgiving. A team like Atletico, who would pounce upon any opportunity that you pass on to them. They would pounce upon any chance of scoring that goal. You could see the goals that were scored, the first goal, the third goal, any goal that they scored out of the first four, Atletico were just pouncing upon all those opportunities. And you bring on your inexperienced young goalkeeper who hasn't played a game in months, replacing your main goalkeeper who hasn't been at his best, let's just be honest. And then you expect him to do all the great things in the world. And when he doesn't do that, you just hook him off. You just take him off at just 17 minutes. It's something it's just something that I can't wrap my head around. And David De Gea tweeted about it, that he does understand how it feels for Kinsky. And I hope this doesn't demotivate Kinsky. I hope this doesn't let Kinsky down in his own mind. But we can see how easily it could crush any young player. It did crush Lloris Karius in the Champions League final in 2018. He never truly recovered from that. But I do hope that Kinsky doesn't take this to his heart. I think this was just poor man management from Igor Tudor. I think this was just a poor game strategy, and this was just a poor approach to the game, and this was just a poor decision from Igor Tudor. Firstly, to have him play such a huge game against such a tough opponent, and then leaving him to fend for himself, fight against the hyenas just by himself. I think Igor Tudor shouldn't be managing Tottenham in the next few games. I don't think he should be there at Tottenham by the end of the season. I don't think he will be there at the end of the season for Tottenham. And I don't see how Tottenham do survive this relegation battle now, because they just seem like a team completely defeated. They have this defeatist mentality. They have no will to win. They have no desire to survive at this point. It feels like the players just want to be done with the season. It feels like the players just want to leave this club. You can see it in their performances. You can see on their faces. They just don't want it bad enough. They just don't want to survive. They're just playing it because they have to. It doesn't feel like Tottenham do want to stay up. That is just how it is. And when it comes to Atletico, what a great team they are. What a coordinated team they are. They are such mentality monsters. I wouldn't even call them mentality monsters. I would just say that they are such a smart team when it comes to picking their team, when it comes to approaching the game, choosing how and when to fight their opponent, what strategies they have to use against their opponents. The strategy that they took against Barcelona in the Copa del Rey, the strategy that they have now taken against Tottenham. They knew Tottenham would be an easy opponent, and they went all guns blazing. They just attacked Tottenham from the get-go, and they kept attacking them till the final whistle. This is how you have to approach a game against a weak opponent in the Champions League. This is how you get ahead. And it wouldn't be surprising to see Atletico beat any team in the semi-final that they do get, whether it be Barcelona or whether it be Newcastle in the quarterfinal. I know many people are writing Atletico off, saying that Barcelona would get to this quarterfinal and then beat Atletico and then go to the semi-final. I think Atletico might just go to the semi-final. All their players have coordinated with each other. They have such a strong sense of self-belief. They have such a strong faith in themselves. They are so in line with themselves. They are so in sync. And Lookman has been such a great addition to their team. Griezmann, Lookman, and Julian Alvarez, they're all coordinating in such a great fashion. You know, the final, the trophy, it might just be on the cards for Atletico if they play their cards right, if they approach the Champions League in the right way. Atletico might just end up with at least one silverware. Whether it be the Copa del Rey, whether it be the Champions League. A great sight to see Atletico win the Champions League, because they have tried it for so long. Simeone, Griezmann, Koke, they're all owed a Champions League for so long. It wouldn't be surprising for Atletico to win the Champions League at all. Anyways, that was it for the video. I just wanted to discuss how the Champions League first set of ties for the Champions League round of 16 went. Let's just see what happens tonight with the PSG Chelsea game and the Arsenal game. It'll be a must watch. But I'll see you guys soon. This is Darush signing off.